Hello, my name's Pat Backley and I'm an author from New Zealand. I have written, last year at the age of 70, I wrote and published my first book called Daisy, a historical family saga. And this year, or actually last year, just before Christmas, I published the sequel, the second Daisy. I would just like to tell you a little bit about them. You can probably tell by my accent that I'm English, although I live in New Zealand. I lived in England for the first 59 years of my life. So these books are based in London, Alabama, and Harlem. So you can see they cover quite a wide geographical range. And it's a gentle family saga that starts in 1887 and goes, with the sequel, goes right through to almost to the new millennium, the year 2000. And it follows the lives of several very different families and how they all came together. So I'd just like to read you a couple of very small portions from it. From the first one, this is about two boys, well, young men, aged 21, who are sent on the Grand Tour of Europe in I've forgotten the exact date. In 1909, they're sent on the Grand Tour of Europe for one of them, only one, to try and find a suitable wife. So I'll just read you this short bit. So as they travelled through Europe for their grand tour, these two tall and very handsome young men attracted a lot of attention. They never gave any thought to their different skin colours, so it came as a surprise when people found them an exotic pair. They were invited to parties and balls wherever they went. At the Carnivale in Venice, they lost their tour guide in the foggy February alleyways and emerged to find themselves outside a palace on the Grand Canal, each wrapped in the arms of a courtesan. They smoked hookah pipes in Morocco, waltzed in Vienna, gambled on the Côte d'Azur, and rode camels in the Sahara. In short, they had an absolutely wonderful time, and the plantation in Alabama seemed like another world. After the boys had spent 4 years aimlessly wandering around with no rich heiresses in sight, Theo's father began to make demands. He sent telegraphs, threatening to cut off Theo's allowance unless he found a wife. Theo replied, "Dear father, thank you for your concern. I have searched high and low, throughout Europe and beyond, for a woman suitable to bring home to you, but to no avail. I was thinking that perhaps we should now go to England, as you wanted, to visit the cotton mills of Lancashire, where we send our cotton. Perhaps there I will find a nice English bride." So that's an excerpt from the first book, Daisy. And then the second Daisy continues the story. And if you forgive me for just one moment, I'm not very organised, so I just need to find the bit that I wanted to read to you. Here we go. So in this bit, the second Daisy is talking to her grandma. Now, this is 19... Sorry, I'm not very organised for this, am I? This is 1992, so this is getting on for 100 years since that other quote. "How did you cope, Grandma, when your husband cheated on you? You must have felt so bad when he went off with that other woman." It was well known in the family, the sad story of Vi's short, disastrous marriage. Everyone knew how she got pregnant when she was 17, just as she was started out in life. She thought that she was in love with Bert, the docker from Southwark. Now she knew that it had just been infatuation, that she had been flattered by him, flattered that he had chosen her over some of the older, prettier girls he usually hung around. Now we have Vi speaking. "Sometimes it all seems like a distant bad dream. One day your current troubles will feel like that too, Daisy. At the time, I thought I just wanted to die, to give up on life altogether. I had just given birth to your Auntie Penny. I was only 17, much too young to have a baby, and I had no idea how to be a mother. I didn't want to be one at all, really, but in those days, there was no choice. If you got in the family way before you were married, you put shame on your family. Some poor young girls were thrown out of their homes, left to fend for themselves and their babies on the streets. I was truly lucky that Mum and Dad helped me. They were really disappointed in me, of course, but they never let me down. I was lucky too that Bert agreed to marry me. His family wasn't too pleased. They thought I was a bit snooty because I worked up west in a big department store. On top of that, I refused to move to Southwark after the wedding. Good job I didn't go the way things turned out. She paused and took a big gulp of tea from the fine-boned china teacup in front of her. Daisy was stunned. She had never heard Grandma Vi talk so much. She was usually the quietest one in the family, and here she was, telling what seemed to Daisy like her whole life story. A story so personal and raw that Daisy thought she might burst into tears. And that's an excerpt from the second Daisy. So thank you for listening, and if you like the sound of my books, I'd be delighted if you wanted to buy them. Thank you so much.